They laughed when I missed every single target. They mocked me as the worst archer in the kingdom's history. And when they threw me out of the academy gates like garbage, they said I'd never amount to anything. But here's what they didn't know. Being the worst was exactly what I needed to become the best. And now, those same people who kicked me out are on their knees, begging me to save them. Let me tell you how the worst archer in history became the one person the entire kingdom can't survive without. My name is Kaito Ashford, and if you asked anyone at the Royal Archery Academy about me 3 months ago, they'd tell you the same thing. I was the biggest joke they'd ever seen. The academy was supposed to be where the kingdom's finest archers trained. We're talking about students who could split arrows at 200 meters, who could hit moving targets blindfolded, who could shoot through keyholes without touching the sides. These weren't just skilled archers, they were prodigies, nobles with generations of archery mastery in their bloodlines. And then there was me, the commoner who somehow got accepted on a scholarship, the kid who couldn't hit a target the size of a barn door from 10 feet away. Today was supposed to be different. Today was the final evaluation, the test that would determine if we graduated or got expelled. I'd been practicing every single night for months, shooting until my fingers bled, until I couldn't lift my arms anymore. I thought maybe, just maybe, I could hit at least one target. Just one. I stand in the evaluation arena, bow in hand, surrounded by 300 of my classmates. The instructors watch from their elevated platform. Master Aldrich, the head instructor, stands at the center with his arms crossed, his face already showing disappointment before I've even drawn my bow. 5 targets are set up at varying distances. The first one is only 20 meters away, child's play for anyone here. My hands shake as I knock the arrow. I can feel 300 pairs of eyes boring into my back. I can hear the whispers, the barely contained laughter. 10 gold coins says he doesn't even hit the safety wall, someone mutters behind me. I'll take that bet. He might hit the ground. I try to block them out. Focus, Kaito. Just like you practiced. Draw back slowly. Aim, breathe out, release. The arrow flies. Everyone watches its arc. It doesn't even come close to the target. Instead, it curves sharply to the left, bounces off a support beam, and lands in the dirt 30 feet away from where I was aiming. The laughter explodes. It's not even mean-spirited anymore. It's genuine shock at how spectacularly bad that was. Again, Master Aldrich says flatly. I try again, and again, and again. 5 arrows, 5 complete misses. The 5th one somehow manages to fly backward over my shoulder, nearly hitting one of the instructors. The entire arena is in chaos. People are doubled over laughing. Some are recording it on memory crystals to show their friends later. Master Aldrich raises his hand for silence. The laughter dies down to snickers and whispers. Kaito Ashford, he announces, his voice carrying across the arena. In my 30 years as an instructor at this academy, I have never, and I mean never, seen anyone as completely devoid of archery talent as you. You are, without question, the worst archer I have ever had the misfortune of teaching. His words cut deeper than any arrow. But he's not done. You are hereby expelled from the Royal Archery Academy, effective immediately. Furthermore, you are banned from ever applying to any archery institution in this kingdom. It is my professional recommendation that you give up archery entirely and find a profession more suited to your limitations. The crowd erupts in applause. Actual applause. They're celebrating my failure. Among them, I see Marcus Whitfield, the Academy's top student and heir to a duke's fortune. He's clapping the loudest, a smug grin plastered across his perfect face. Next to him is Elena Blackwood, ranked 2nd in our class. Her expression, a mixture of pity and satisfaction. These were the people I thought might become my friends when I first arrived. Guards, Master Aldrich signals. Escort him off the premises. Make sure he takes nothing but his personal belongings. 2 guards grab me by the arms. They're not gentle. They drag me out of the arena while the entire student body watches and laughs. Someone throws a rotten tomato. It hits me in the face, and the laughter intensifies. They take me to the dormitory just long enough to grab my bag, then march me to the main gates. The academy sits on a hill overlooking the capital city. Its pristine white walls and golden archery ranges gleaming in the afternoon sun. It's beautiful. It was my dream. The guards literally throw me out. I land hard on the dirt road, my bag scattering its contents everywhere. Behind me, the iron gate slams shut with a finality that echoes in my bones. I sit there in the dirt, gathering my scattered belongings, a few changes of clothes, my mother's old archery manual, the scholarship letter I'd been so proud of 3 years ago. That's when I see it, tucked at the bottom of my bag, my bow. The cheap second-hand bow I bought with my life savings when I got accepted. I should throw it away, burn it. Master Aldrich was right. I'm the worst archer in history. I have no talent, no future in this. I should accept reality and find something else to do with my life. But as I hold the bow, feeling its familiar weight in my hands, something strange happens. The humiliation, the anger, the shame, it all crystallizes into something else, something harder, something unbreakable. I'm not giving up. They can laugh all they want. They can call me the worst. But I'm going to prove every single one of them wrong. I don't know how yet, but I will. I stand up, dust myself off, and start walking. Not toward the capital, where I'd be a laughingstock. Not back home to my village, where I'd face my family's disappointment. I walk in the opposite direction toward the forest that lies at the base of the Academy Hill, toward the unknown. The Whisper Woods. That's what the locals call this forest. It's not an official danger zone, but it's not exactly safe either. Wild animals, the occasional bandit, areas where the magic runs strange and unpredictable. Most people avoid it, which makes it perfect for me. No witnesses, no one to laugh when I practice and fail. Just me, my bow, and whatever future I can carve out for myself. I find a small clearing about an hour's walk from the main road. There's a stream nearby for water, enough space to set up basic targets, and enough tree cover to hide me from any passing travelers. I spend the rest of the day setting up camp, a simple lean-to made from branches and my cloak, a fire pit, and a practice range. As the sun sets, I carve a target into a tree trunk about 10 meters away. Tomorrow, I'll start over. Back to basics. I'll figure out what I'm doing wrong, if it kills me. But tonight, exhaustion wins. I collapse onto my bedroll and fall into a dreamless sleep. I wake up to the smell of cooking fish. My eyes snap open. Someone's in my camp. I scramble for my bow, but a voice stops me. Easy there, boy. If I wanted to rob you, you'd still be asleep and your pockets would be empty. An old man sits by my fire, roasting fish on a stick. He looks ancient, wild white hair, a beard down to his chest, weathered skin covered in scars. He's wearing simple hunter's clothes that have seen better days, and there's a massive bow leaning against the tree next to him. Not the elegant recurve bows favored by the Academy, but a long bow that looks like it could punch through castle walls. Who are you? I demand, trying to sound braver than I feel. Name's Gideon. I live deeper in these woods. He gestures vaguely toward the forest's dark interior. Saw your camp. Thought I'd check on you. It's not often someone sets up this deep in the Whisper Woods without knowing what they're doing. He looks at my crude target, then at my bow, then at me. His eyes are sharp, calculating. They seem to see right through me. You're from the Academy up the hill, he states. It's not a question. Was from the Academy, I correct bitterly. They kicked me out yesterday. Ah, he nods knowingly. Let me guess, couldn't hit anything? The shame burns in my chest. Worst archer in the Academy's history, according to Master Aldrich. Gideon laughs, a deep, rumbling sound. Aldrich said that? That pompous fool wouldn't know real archery if it shot him in the ass. I blink. You know Master Aldrich? I taught him, about 40 years ago. He was adequate, never exceptional. The problem with the Academy is they teach you how to shoot pretty arrows at stationary targets. Perfect form, perfect technique, perfect scores. But archery isn't about perfection, it's about adaptation, about seeing what others can't see. He stands up and walks over to my target. Mind if I see you shoot? I hesitate. The last thing I need is another person watching me fail. But something about the old man's demeanor makes me curious. He doesn't seem like he's here to mock me. All right, I say, picking up my bow. I knock an arrow, take my stance, feet shoulder-width apart, back straight, just like the Academy taught me. I draw back, aim at the center of my carved target, breathe out, and release. The arrow flies wide to the left, missing the entire tree. Again, Gideon says. I shoot 4 more arrows. 3 miss completely. 1 actually hits the tree, but about 2 feet above where I was aiming. Gideon strokes his beard thoughtfully. Interesting. Very interesting. What's interesting about being terrible? I ask, frustration bleeding into my voice. You're not terrible, he says, and I almost laugh at the absurdity. You're something much rarer. You, boy, have what we old-timers call wandering sight. Wandering sight. Your eyes see what's going to be, not what is. When you aim at that target, your mind shows you where your arrow will land, and it's never where you're actually aiming. To everyone else, you look like you can't hit anything, but you're actually hitting exactly what your eyes are showing you. I stare at him. That's insane. Is it? Think about it. When you shoot, do you ever feel surprised by where your arrow lands? I open my mouth to say, yes, of course I'm surprised, but then I stop. Because he's right. Every single time I've shot an arrow, some part of me knew where it was going to go. I always thought it was just my awful aim, my complete lack of skill. But what if it wasn't? Wandering sight is the rarest archery gift that exists, Gideon continues. In my entire life, I've only met 3 people who had it. 2 of them gave up because they couldn't learn to control it. The third became the greatest archer the kingdom has ever known. Who was the third? I ask. He taps his chest. Me. Boy. And if you're willing to learn, I can teach you to use your gift. But I'll warn you, it won't be like the Academy. It'll be harder than anything you've ever done, and there's no guarantee you'll succeed. I don't hesitate. Teach me. Gideon grins, showing gaps where teeth used to be. Good. We start tomorrow at dawn. And boy, prepare to miss a lot before you learn to hit. When Gideon said dawn, he meant before dawn. He kicks my lean-to at what feels like the middle of the night, though the faint gray light on the horizon suggests it's technically morning. Up, he barks. Archers who sleep in get eaten by wolves. I stumble out, still half asleep. He hands me a cup of something that might be tea or might be mud, I'm not sure which. First lesson, Gideon says, walking into the forest. Follow me. We walk for what feels like hours, deeper into the whisper woods than I've ever been. The trees here are ancient, their trunks so wide 3 people couldn't link arms around them. The canopy is so thick that even at midday, it feels like dusk. Finally, we reach a cliff overlooking a vast canyon. Far below, a river winds through the rocks like a silver ribbon. See that boulder down there? Gideon points to a large rock on the opposite side of the canyon. The one with the white streak? I squint. It's at least 300 meters away, maybe more. Yes? Hit it. I turn to look at him, certain I misheard. Hit it? I can't even hit a target 10 meters away. Exactly. So you have nothing to lose by trying. Draw your bow. This is insane. But I've committed to this path, so I knock an arrow, aim in the general direction of the boulder, and release. The arrow arcs through the air and disappears into the canyon. I have no idea where it landed. Again, Gideon says. I shoot all 20 arrows I brought. None come close to the boulder. Most don't even make it across the canyon. Now, Gideon says, when I'm done, go collect them. What? Your arrows. Go collect them. There's a path down if you look carefully. It takes me 3 hours to climb down, find my arrows, and climb back up. By the time I return, I'm exhausted, covered in scratches, and thoroughly questioning my life choices. Good, Gideon says. Again, this becomes my life. Every day, for 2 weeks straight, I shoot at the impossible boulder and spend hours retrieving my arrows. My arms ache constantly. My fingers develop calluses on top of calluses. I lose weight because I'm too tired to eat properly. And I don't hit the boulder. Not once. Not even close. On day 15, I finally break. This is pointless, I shout after my 20th failed shot. I'm never going to hit it. This wandering sight thing is just a nice story you tell failed archers to make them feel better. Gideon doesn't react to my outburst. He simply picks up his massive longbow, nocks an arrow, and without seeming to aim at all, releases it. The arrow flies across the canyon in a perfect arc. 300 meters away, it strikes the boulder dead center with a crack I can hear even from here. The boulder doesn't matter, he says quietly. I'm not training you to hit a rock. I'm training you to see. See what? The truth. When you shoot at that boulder, where does your wandering sight tell you the arrow will go? I think about it. Every time I shoot, there's this split second where I absolutely know where the arrow will land. Not where I want it to land, but where it will land. It shows me. Different spots. Never the same place twice. Exactly. Your sight is wandering because you're fighting it. You're trying to aim at the boulder while your gift is showing you the true path. You need to stop fighting and start listening. How? Close your eyes. I close them. Knock an arrow. Draw. But don't open your eyes. Instead, feel where your wandering sight wants the arrow to go. Trust it completely. Then, release. This is ridiculous. How can I hit anything with my eyes closed when I can't hit anything with them open? But I'm here, aren't I? I've committed to this madness. I knock an arrow, eyes squeezed shut. I draw back, and instead of aiming at where I think the boulder is, I try to feel, really feel where my wandering sight is showing me. There. A spot in the darkness behind my eyelids. Not the boulder somewhere else entirely, but it feels right in a way nothing else has. I adjust my aim toward that feeling and release. Silence. Then, faint but unmistakable, the crack of wood on stone. My eyes snap open. 300 meters away, my arrow is embedded in the boulder. I stare at it in disbelief. I hit it. No, Gideon corrects with a slight smile. You trusted your sight. There's a difference. Now do it again. Over the next month, everything changes. Gideon teaches me to stop thinking of archery as aiming and start thinking of it as seeing. My wandering sight isn't a curse, it's showing me possibilities, futures, the million tiny variables that affect where an arrow will actually go. Wind direction, air density, the rotation of my arrow's fletching, the flex in my bowstring, my heartbeat, my breathing, everything. The academy taught me to ignore those variables and aim for perfect form. But perfect form doesn't account for reality. My wandering sight does. The training becomes more intense. Gideon has me shooting at moving targets, birds in flight, leaves falling from trees, fish jumping in streams. Impossible shots that I somehow, impossibly, start to make. 2 months in, he takes me to a different part of the forest. There's a tree there, massive and old, with a single apple hanging from a branch about 40 meters up. See that apple? Gideon asks. Yes, there's a worm inside it. On the left side, about halfway up. Hit the worm without destroying the apple. I stare at him. That's impossible. I can't even see the worm from here. Your eyes can't see it. But can your wandering sight? I close my eyes, knock an arrow, and reach out with my wandering sight. At first, there's nothing. Then, slowly, I start to see it not with my eyes, but with something deeper. the apple's exact position, the tiny movements caused by the wind. And there, yes, a small irregularity in the apple's left side, the worm. I adjust my aim to account for everything my sight shows me, the wind, the distance, the angle, the exact thickness of the apple's skin where the worm sits. I release. The arrow flies true. It passes through the exact spot my sight showed me, and the apple drops from the tree, pierced but intact. Gideon picks it up, examines the hole. A small worm, neatly bisected, falls out. "Well done," he says, and there's genuine pride in his voice. "You're ready for the next phase." Next phase? I've been training for 3 months straight. How much more can there be? Gideon's expression becomes serious. "Everything I've taught you so far has been about control. Now I need to teach you about purpose. Because an arrow without purpose is just a stick with feathers. Tomorrow, we hunt." The next morning, Gideon leads me deeper into the Whisper Woods than we've ever been. This far in, the trees are so massive and ancient that the forest floor exists in permanent twilight. Strange sounds echo through the darkness, howls and screeches that don't belong to any animal I know. The Whisper Woods got its name for a reason, Gideon explains, as we walk. Deep in these forests, the boundary between our world and the shadow realm grows thin. Monsters slip through. Most are small, harmless, but some. He doesn't finish, but he doesn't need to. I can feel it in the air, a wrongness, like reality itself is holding its breath. We reach a clearing, and Gideon stops. In the center, there's a massive boulder covered in strange markings that seem to pulse with a faint purple light. "This is a weak point," Gideon says. "A place where the shadow realm bleeds into ours. Monsters are drawn here. We're going to thin their numbers." "We're hunting monsters?" My voice comes out higher than I'd like. "What did you think hunt meant?" "We're not after rabbits, boy. Your wandering sight isn't just for target practice. It's a combat tool, the most powerful one an archer can have. But you won't know that until you use it in real battle." Before I can respond, the purple light on the boulder intensifies. The air shimmers, and something starts to emerge from the rock itself. A shadow beast. It's roughly wolf-shaped, but wrong in every detail. Too many legs, eyes that glow red like coals, smoke pouring from its mouth instead of breath. "Yours," Gideon says, stepping back. "Remember your training." The beast spots me and snarls, then it charges. Panic floods my system, but my body moves on instinct, months of training taking over. I knock an arrow, close my eyes for a split second to see with my wandering sight, and release. The arrow flies. But my sight shows me something impossible. The beast will dodge left. How can I know that? It's still charging straight at me. Trust your sight. At the last possible second, the beast jukes left to avoid the arrow. Except the arrow is already there, exactly where my wandering sight showed me it would be. The arrow pierces the beast's skull. It dissolves into smoke before it hits the ground. My hands are shaking. I killed it. "You predicted it," Gideon corrects. "Your wandering sight doesn't just show you where to aim, it shows you what will happen. The beast's dodge, the exact trajectory of your arrow, the point where they'd intersect. You saw the future and shot into it." The boulder pulses again. This time, 3 beasts emerge. "Again," Gideon says. We spend the entire day at the clearing. Wave after wave of shadow beasts pour through, and I shoot them down. At first, it's exhausting each shot, requiring me to see, predict, and react in fractions of a second. But gradually, something shifts. I stop closing my eyes. I stop thinking about it. My wandering sight and my normal vision merge into something new. I can see both what is and what will be simultaneously. A beast charges from the left. My sight shows me it will leap high in 2 seconds. I'm already releasing my arrow before it jumps. The arrow meets it at the peak of its arc. 2 beasts attack from different angles. My sight shows me their paths will intersect in 3 seconds. One arrow, perfectly placed, catches both. By nightfall, I've killed over 100 shadow beasts. The clearing is silent. The boulder's purple light has dimmed to almost nothing. I collapse onto the ground, arms screaming in pain, vision blurring from exhaustion. But I'm smiling, because I finally understand. The academy was teaching me to be perfect. Gideon taught me to be effective. There's a world of difference. "Not bad," Gideon says, sitting down next to me. "You're starting to get it, but there's one more thing you need to learn before you're ready." "What's that?" He looks at me seriously. "The difference between hunting monsters and protecting people. You can see the future, Kaito. That makes you dangerous, but it also makes you responsible. Every arrow you shoot creates a future. You need to choose wisely which futures you create." 6 months have passed since Gideon found me in the forest. 6 months of the hardest training imaginable. 6 months of pushing my wandering sight to its absolute limits. And 6 months of becoming someone completely different from the failure who got kicked out of the academy. This morning, Gideon and I are returning from a hunt when we see its smoke rising from the direction of the capital. Not the normal cooking fires or forge smoke. This is black, billowing, the smoke of buildings burning. Something's wrong, I say, already feeling my wandering sight reaching out toward the city. Flashes of violence, chaos, screaming. The visions are fragmented, unclear, but the danger is unmistakable. Gideon's face is grim. The Shadow Realm, a major incursion. I've seen this before, decades ago. If the capital falls, the entire kingdom follows. We run. My months of training have transformed my body. I can sprint through the forest for miles without tiring. We reach the main road within an hour and immediately encounter refugees fleeing the capital. Shadow beasts. A merchant gasps out. Thousands of them. They appeared from nowhere, right in the middle of the city. The royal guard can't stop them. Even the Academy's archers are falling back. The Academy, Master Aldrich, Marcus, Elena, my former classmates. Despite everything, I don't want them to die. I'm going in, I tell Gideon. He nods. I know, just remember, you're not the failure they remember. You're an archer who can see the future. Use that advantage. We part ways at the city gates, Gideon, heading to help with the evacuation while I push forward into the chaos. The capital is a war zone. Shadow beasts flood the streets, their red eyes glowing in the smoke-filled darkness. Buildings are on fire. Bodies lie in the streets, both civilians and soldiers. And everywhere, the sounds of screaming, fighting, dying. My wandering sight activates immediately, showing me countless futures branching out from this moment. Most of them end in death, but a precious few, show paths where people survive. I start shooting. A shadow beast leaps at a mother carrying her child. My sight shows me exactly where it will be in 2 seconds. My arrow is already there when it arrives. The beast dissolves, the woman runs. 3 beasts corner a group of soldiers. My sight shows me their attack pattern, the exact sequence they'll use. 3 arrows, 3 shots, perfect timing. All 3 beasts fall before they can strike. I move through the city like a ghost, appearing where I'm needed, shooting with impossible accuracy, then disappearing into the smoke. The survivors I save don't even see me clearly, just a figure with a bow, arrows that never miss, help that vanishes as quickly as it arrives. But the beasts keep coming. For every 10 I kill, 20 more appear. The city is losing. The royal guard has fallen back to the inner walls. The Academy has retreated to their hilltop fortress. I need to find the source. My wandering sight reaches out, scanning the city, looking for the epicenter of the invasion. And there in the old cathedral at the city's heart, a massive rift in reality itself, shadow beasts pouring through like water from a broken dam. I run toward it, but as I round a corner, I slam into someone. We both go down. When I look up, I'm face to face with Marcus Whitfield. He's changed since I last saw him. His perfect uniform is torn and bloody. His confident smirk is gone, replaced by exhaustion and fear. His bow, an expensive masterwork worth more than my village's entire yearly income, hangs uselessly at his side. You, he says, and I see the recognition dawn in his eyes. Kaito, what are you doing here? Before I can answer, my wandering sight screams a warning. 3 shadow beasts, converging on our position from different angles, will arrive in 5 seconds. Get down, I shout, drawing and firing in one smooth motion. 3 arrows, 3 directions, all fired within 2 seconds. Marcus stares as all 3 beasts fall, dissolving before they can reach us. How? He stammers. You couldn't hit anything. You were expelled. You were the worst. Things change, I say, helping him to his feet. Where's Master Aldrich? Where's the Academy? Marcus's face falls. The Academy fortress is surrounded. We tried to fight back, but there are too many. Master Aldrich is coordinating the defense, but we're losing. We can't hit them fast enough. They're too unpredictable, too fast. They're not unpredictable, I say. You're just not seeing them correctly. More beasts appear. Marcus raises his bow, but his hands are shaking. He can't see where they'll move, can't predict their attack patterns. He's been trained for perfect targets, not chaos. I shoot 4 arrows in rapid succession. 4 beasts fall. Come on, I tell Marcus. Take me to the Academy, and tell everyone to evacuate toward the eastern gate. I'm going to close the rift. Close the rift? That's suicide. Even the royal mages couldn't get close. They didn't have wandering sight. I do. Now move. We run through the burning streets. I clear the path ahead, my arrows finding targets Marcus can't even see yet. He follows, in stunned silence, the reality of what I've become slowly sinking in. When we reach the Academy fortress, the scene is dire. Hundreds of shadow beasts surround the building. The Academy's archers are on the walls, shooting as fast as they can, but they're barely holding the line. I can see Elena Blackwood on the north wall, her face set in concentration. Master Aldrich commands from the central tower, his voice hoarse from shouting orders. Everyone, fall back to inner positions. I shout up to them. I'm going to thin their numbers. Elena spots me. Kaito? What are you? I don't wait for her to finish. My wandering sight expands, showing me not just the next few seconds, but the next few minutes. I see every beast's movement pattern, every attack trajectory, every convergence point, and I start shooting. It's not like anything I've done before. I'm not shooting at individual targets, I'm shooting at the future itself. Each arrow creates a cascade of effects. A beast falls, causing 2 others to change their paths, which I've already accounted for with my next 2 arrows. I move through the battlefield like I'm dancing to music only I can hear. Duck left before the claw swipes at where I was. Release an arrow to where a beast will be in 3 seconds. Roll right as a burst of shadow magic explodes where I was standing. Shoot straight up, the arrow arcing to hit a beast mid-leap 20 meters above. The Academy's archers stop shooting, mesmerized. They watch as I single-handedly dismantle the siege force, one impossible shot after another. Beasts fall in sequences that seem choreographed. Arrows find targets through gaps that shouldn't exist. Every movement precise, every shot perfect. Within 10 minutes, the siege is broken. The remaining shadow beasts scatter, retreating toward the cathedral. The Academy fortress is saved. I'm breathing hard, arms aching, but I'm not done. The rift is still open. As long as it remains, more beasts will come. Master Aldrich appears at the fortress gate, Elena and a dozen other Academy archers behind him. They all stare at me like I'm a ghost. Kaido Ashford, Master Aldrich says slowly, the worst archer I ever taught. Except, you're not anymore, are you? I never was, I reply. You just didn't know how to teach me. Now listen, the rift is in the cathedral. I'm going to close it, but I'll need covering fire. Can you do that? For the first time in his life, Master Aldrich looks uncertain. The cathedral is swarming with shadow beasts. The rift's guardian is there a greater shadow beast the size of a house. Even our best archers couldn't. I'm not asking if you can kill it, I interrupt. I'm asking if you can keep the smaller ones off my back while I do. Can you manage that? Master Aldrich looks at his students, then back at me. Something shifts in his expression, pride, swallowing humility. We can do that. Then follow me. We march through the burning city, me in the lead. Master Aldrich and 30 of the Academy's finest archers behind me. Marcus and Elena are there too, their earlier contempt replaced by something else. Respect? Fear? Maybe both. The cathedral looms ahead, its once beautiful spires now wreathed in purple energy. The rift hovers above the main entrance, a tear in reality itself, pulsing with otherworldly power. Shadow beasts pour from it in an endless stream. And there, guarding the rift, is the greater shadow beast. Master Aldrich wasn't exaggerating. It's massive, easily 3 stories tall, with a body that seems to shift between solid and smoke. Multiple heads, each with rows of glowing red eyes. Claws that could rend stone. An aura of pure malevolence that makes my skin crawl. Form up, Master Aldrich commands. Firing line. Target the smaller beasts. Keep them away from Kaito. The Academy archers spread out, creating a defensive perimeter. They're good, I can't deny that. Their arrows fly with precision, dropping shadow beasts with practiced efficiency. But they're shooting at where the beasts are, not where they will be. It's the difference between good and great. I walk forward, alone, toward the greater beast. My wandering sight is screaming warnings. This thing is dangerous in ways the smaller beasts could never be. It doesn't just move through space. It moves through possibilities. It exists in multiple futures simultaneously. The beast notices me. All of its eyes lock onto my position. Then it moves. Except it doesn't move in a straight line. My wandering sight shows me 6 different attack paths, all equally probable. It will strike from the left, from the right, from above, from below, will circle around, will charge straight ahead all at the same time. This is why the Royal Mages failed. You can't fight something that exists in multiple futures at once. Not with normal attacks, anyway. But I'm not normal. My wandering sight doesn't just show me one future, it shows me all of them. And more importantly, it shows me which future is the real one. I close my eyes and dive deep into my sight. The world explodes into branches of possibility. Millions of futures, splitting and recombining like a vast tree. The beast's attack manifests in 6 different timelines, but only one of them is real. The others are phantoms, possibilities that will collapse when the true attack comes. There, the central path. The beast will charge straight at me, trusting its phantom attacks to confuse and distract. I open my eyes, draw, and release. The arrow flies straight ahead while the beast's phantom attacks materialize from all directions. Behind me, I hear the Academy archers gasp. It looks like I've shot at the wrong path, like the beast is about to tear me apart from 5 different angles. Then the phantoms vanish. The beast's true form charges forward, directly into my arrow's path. The arrow strikes it between all of its eyes, and the creature screams a sound that cracks windows and makes everyone's ears bleed. But it's not dead. One arrow, even perfectly placed, isn't enough. The beast staggers back, wounded but furious. Good. I don't need it dead yet. I need it distracted. While the beast recovers, I sprint toward the rift. My wandering sight shows me the path dodge left, roll right, jump over the debris, slide under the claw. Behind me, the beast roars and gives chase, but I'm faster, more agile. Its massive size works against it. I reach the base of the cathedral. The rift hovers 30 feet above me, pulsing with purple energy. To close it, I need to destroy its anchor point, a crystal of solidified shadow energy at its center. The problem? The crystal is surrounded by the rift's energy field. Any arrow that touches it will be deflected. I need a perfect shot, one that threads through the field's gaps at exactly the right angle, at exactly the right moment. I've got one chance. Maybe 2 arrows worth of time before the greater beast catches up to me. I knock an arrow, and let my wandering sight expand to its absolute limit. The world slows down. I can see every pulse of the rift's energy, every microfluctuation in its field. There a gap will form in 3 seconds, lasting for exactly 0.2 seconds. If I shoot now, accounting for arrow travel time, wind resistance, the cathedral's updraft, my own heartbeat, I release. The arrow flies. Time seems to freeze. Everyone watches its arc. The Academy archers, Master Aldrich, Marcus, Elena. Even the greater beast pauses mid-charge. The arrow reaches the rift. The energy field pulses. The gap forms. The arrow slips through with millimeters to spare and strikes the shadow crystal dead center. The crystal shatters. The rift implodes with a sound like reality screaming. Purple energy rushes inward, pulling shadow beasts back into the shadow realm. The greater beast tries to resist, but it's caught in the vacuum, dragged backward toward the collapsing rift. It looks at me one last time with all its eyes, and I swear I see something like respect before it's pulled through and the rift seals shut with a final crack of displaced air. Silence falls over the cathedral. The remaining shadow beasts dissolve, severed from their connection to the shadow realm. The purple energy fades. The fires start to die down. I collapse onto my knees, exhaustion finally catching up to me. My arms feel like lead. My vision is blurring. But it's done. The city is saved. Footsteps approach. Master Aldrich, Marcus, Elena, and the other Academy archers surround me. For a long moment, no one speaks. Then Master Aldrich does something I never expected. He kneels. I was wrong, he says, his voice thick with emotion. Profoundly, completely wrong. You were never a bad archer. You were a master waiting for the right teacher. I failed you, not the other way around. One by one, the other archers kneel. Marcus, Elena, all of them. The same people who laughed when I was expelled now bow their heads in respect. Please, Marcus says, and his voice is shaking. We need you. The kingdom needs you. Come back to the academy, not as a student, as our master instructor. Teach us what you've learned. I look at them all, these proud, skilled archers who once considered me worthless, now begging me to lead them. Part of me wants to refuse, to tell them they had their chance and threw it away. But then I remember Gideon's words. Every arrow you shoot creates a future. You need to choose wisely which futures you create. I could create a future based on revenge, on proving them wrong. Or I could create a future where the kingdom has archers who can actually protect it, where people with gifts like mine aren't thrown away because they don't fit the mold. The choice is obvious. I'll teach you, I say, but we're doing things my way. No more perfect form for the sake of perfection. No more throwing away students who don't fit your expectations. We're going to learn to see, really see, not just aim. Yes, Master Aldrich says immediately. Anything, everything, just. Protect us. Teach us. We beg you. And there it is. The moment the thumbnail captured perfectly. The worst archer in history. The failure they kicked out in disgrace. Now standing over the kingdom's finest archers as they kneel and beg for his protection. Stand up, I tell them. All of you. We have a city to rebuild and an academy to reform. No more kneeling. We're all archers here. 3 years later, the Royal Archery Academy looks different now. The pristine white walls remain, but the training grounds have changed completely. Instead of perfect archery ranges with stationary targets, there are obstacle courses, moving targets, unpredictable environments. Instead of students standing in neat rows practicing perfect form, I see archers adapting, flowing, seeing. I stand at my usual spot on the observation tower, watching the new recruits. Among them, I spot a young girl who keeps missing her targets by impossible margins. Her instructors are frustrated. She's crying. I walk down to the range. What's your name? I ask her. Asura? She stammers, wiping her eyes. I'm sorry, Master Kaido. I'm trying, but I just can't hit anything. I think I might have to quit. I smile. Let me see you shoot, but this time, close your eyes and tell me what you see. She looks confused but obeys. She knocks an arrow, closes her eyes, and draws. I see the arrow landing, but it's not where I'm aiming. It never is. Good, I say. Now, trust what you see and release. She releases. The arrow flies to where her sight showed her not the target, but a spot 3 feet to the left. Her eyes open, disappointed. I missed again, she says. Did you? I pick up a small stone and toss it toward the target. At the exact moment it passes through where Sarah's arrow landed, I see her eyes widen. You didn't miss. You hit exactly what you saw. You have wandering sight, and I'm going to teach you to use it. Her face lights up. Really? You mean I'm not terrible? You're not terrible. You're rare. There are maybe 10 people in the entire kingdom with this gift, and with proper training you could become one of the greatest archers alive. As I walk away to let her process this, I see Gideon standing at the edge of the training grounds. He visits sometimes to check on my progress. He nods approvingly. You've done well, he says as I approach. The kingdom has real archers now, not just people who can hit targets. I learned from the best, I reply. And now you've surpassed your teacher, as it should be. He claps me on the shoulder. I have something for you. He hands me a scroll. I unroll it and read, Royal Decree. In recognition of his heroic defense of the capital and his revolutionary contributions to the art of archery, Kaito Ashford is hereby named Royal Archery Master and Guardian of the Realm. Let it be known that he who was once called the worst is now acknowledged as the greatest archer the kingdom has ever known. Signed by the king himself. I stare at it for a long moment. Greatest archer. The same people who called me the worst now call me the greatest. The irony isn't lost on me. How does it feel? Gideon asks. I think about it. About the journey from failure to hero. About the laughter at the academy gates to the kneeling at the cathedral. About being kicked out and begged to return. Honestly, I say, it feels like I'm exactly where I was always meant to be. I just had to take the longest possible route to get here. Gideon laughs. The best archers always do. Perfect shots are boring. It's the impossible ones that make legends. In the training ground, Sarah is practicing again. Her eyes are closed, her stance uncertain, but she's starting to trust her wandering sight. She releases an arrow, and it lands exactly where her sight showed her it would. She's going to be great. I can see it not with my wandering sight, but with certainty born from experience, because I was her once. The worst, the failure, the one everyone gave up on. And look at me now. I'm the archer they all begged to protect them. The one they kicked out. The one who came back to save them. The one who proved that being the worst was just the beginning of becoming the best. My wandering sight shows me the future, a kingdom full of archers trained in the new way. A kingdom that doesn't throw away its failures but helps them become masters. A kingdom protected not by perfect form, but by perfect vision. I smile and knock an arrow. There's always more training to do, more futures to see, more impossible shots to make. After all, I'm Kaito Ashford, the worst archer in history, and the greatest. If you made it this far, you're one of the real ones. Hit subscribe, right now, not later. Most people watch and leave. You don't want to be that person. Drop a like. It takes 1 second but pushes this video to more people. Comment what you think or what I should cover next. I read everything. And share this with someone who needs to see it. We're pushing hard for 20K. Be part of it early, not when everyone else shows up.